Welcome to the latest in a series of reports that we are doing in our podcast series, The Evolution of the Great Cow, sponsored by Showbox Sires and on the Dairy Voice. We welcome you to this podcast, which is on our newest release bull, 744 HO 17072, Heritage PRC, a bull that will be released through our Select Sires program and will be available immediately for you to order. As we enter into the summer, we're going to have a lot of bulls coming up, and Mike and I are really excited to kick off the summer season with this bull. So I welcome my partner in Showbox Sires, Mike Duckett, to the podcast, and I'm going to let him introduce the bull, tell you a little bit about where he came from. So welcome back to the podcast, Mike.
We're very excited to introduce Heritage P to everyone. A bull it's a Max PP son from Doc. Just before we sold Doc, we wanted to do one fun mating and go a little red and a little polled, and he got both, the red factor and the polled. A bull that's going to complement a lot of the red bloodlines that you see today.
Well, and I think one reason we're so excited about him, Mike, is because he does, you made this mating specifically to try to get all the good traits of Doc, but throw in polled, throw in red. We also got A2, which doesn't hurt anything. He just checked a lot of boxes when this came together. Tell us a little bit about the sire. I think a lot of our listeners may not be real familiar with Max PP, but tell us how you came about using the bull and about his pedigree.
So just before the sale, Dave Eastman had phoned me and was asking about some animals in the sale, and he said we should try Max PP. It's a Luster P son of Miranda, and I've always been a fan of Luster P, a bull that we actually seen this summer in Ohio at Select Sires. What a tremendous bull, extremely correct bull, customer satisfaction bull. And Miranda, with the daughters and granddaughters through the red and polled genetics, has been a force for years. We have a cow now that's a daughter that was just grand at our spring show that we really like a lot.
Yeah, so it seems like the top side of this pedigree just gets better and better, Mike, every day. And as I look at it, Max PP, so he's a luster out of the 93-point King Boy Miranda, and then a lad, and then a snowman. So you've got a little bit of a diverse pedigree there for today's breeding as well. The other thing I like about the bull, obviously you use this bull on Doc to try to get all of Doc's great traits. And I've said this several times, but in all my years of working in the AI business, I've only worked with one other cow in the history of my work that transmits milk like Doc. It seems like no matter what we do with Doc, every time you get a lot of milk. And the cow I liken her to is a great cow from Chambersburg, Pennsylvania, Rice Crest Southwind K, a cow that just every time, like Doc, transmits milk. And we know what her impact was on the breed. But Mike, as you look at the numbers on this bull, tell our listeners a little bit about why you're excited about what this bull brings to the picnic.
With the modern red genetics today, I feel that Heritage P could be a logical choice on a lot of them. He's 1,500 pounds of milk. He's break even on DPR. He's 2.73 for type and 2.5 udders. But the one big thing is he's under 2 points of stature. That's something that I think a lot of breeders are looking for right now.
Yeah, so when you look at his linear profile, that stands out to me. All that tight, but still medium stature, huge milk, over 1,500 of milk, solid components, maybe not his absolute strength, Mike. But then you look at the DPR at minus 0.1, which is about as good on a 1,500 pound milk bull as you can get. So one thing that you've talked about since the day you did this mating was if we got a red factor one, what it could do to the breed because of how he'll cross on apple blood. Talk a little bit about your vision with that and how that's come together.
So with Doc, I think in some of our ads previously, we've said, can one cow change the breed by herself? And my answer is I think she can help the breed. She's going to add so much production to the red breed. She's going to put balance type to the red breed and bring those health traits in. When we made that mating, obviously Doc had a lot of pregnancies by a lot of different bulls, but we never went down the avenue of red. And that was our thoughts is add milk, add some high type, but still get the health traits and the production from her that she just passes on every time.
And really, as we think about the red population, I think most breeders that focus on red understand you have to stick some black in there every now and then to keep the population turning. And I think the fact that we're throwing Doc and we're throwing Luster and we're throwing this great H family into the red business, it could work. So, Mike, there's a lot of red cattle out there. And which sires do you think we ought to be using Heritage on?
So I feel the Unstoppables, the Morans, obviously the Avalanche blood that's it's getting back there a couple of generations at this point. The Movens, he's going to add lots of production, width, power, and hopefully the width of the front end. That's one thing as a judge I see in a lot of shows now, that this is a trait that I think Doc's going to help us in. I think there's a lot of upside to using a bull like Heritage on those bloodlines.
Well, and Mike, I think about in the more the show world in reds, Diamondback and Warrior and Awesome and Altitude, every single one of those bulls that have thousands of daughters out there that you're looking to breed to something different. This bull is perfect because he's medium stature. He puts open rib and dariness into him. And if you look at his udder traits, you know, his udder, high, wide rear udder, which you'd guess with 1,500 pounds of milk. I'm pretty excited about that. So with all these great bulls out there and the right kind of cattle to use, I'm excited about the bull, Mike, because it's kind of fun when a vision comes together. And your vision on this for the red business and Doc changing them is spot on. So as we wrap up this discussion, you want to leave our listeners with any thoughts on Heritage P? I think for Showbox, we probably got big plans for him.
I think with Heritage P, he's coming onto the scene at the right time. There's a lot of bloodlines in the red breed that he's going to work well on, can be used on him because he's going to be a little outcross to him. But also this bull is a black bull. He's going to be a bull that every dairyman, whether you milk 5,000 cows or 50 cows, I don't think 1,500 pounds of milk ever goes out of style, and especially with that kind of type. So I think Heritage P is a bull that has lots of room to be used on lots of different kind of cattle. We're looking forward to releasing him here in June.
I think you make a great point at the end, and I want to reiterate that, Mike, that we've talked about him in the red breed, but he is the commercial man's perfect bull. He's going to give you the red factor. He's going to give you A2. He's going to leave half the calves with no horns because of the pole gene. Going to give you 1,500 pounds of milk. We talk about every red cow being bred to him. I think there'll be a lot of black cows. And we're going to try to make sons for Showbox Sires starting probably next week. So pretty excited. So to wrap up the discussion, we're excited about our next release, 744 HO 17072 Heritage PRC. He will be available through Showbox Sires exclusively through your Select Sires, Worldwide Sires distributors. There'll be some markets around the world he can't go to because of his IBR status. We will look forward to getting him out there to the public. And if you've got questions, as always, go to our website, drop us an email. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you for joining us for the podcast on this new release, Heritage P.